Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. We will get started in just a moment. As a reminder, for those entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are presenting or providing testimony before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Danny. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you are presenting or providing testimony before the board. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You'll make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. Following questions, there will be an opportunity for testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives. For members of the public wishing to testify, please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. Begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Mothership Alewife LLC, doing business as Revival Cafe and Kitchen, located at 15 Necco Street. Has applied for a common victular license to be exercised on the above 1,804 square feet, single floor space with 4 tables and 2 high top counters with seating. Located on the base floor of 15 Necco Street with lab and office space on the floors above. There is 1 bathroom at the back of the cafe and the kitchen is located in the rear. Manager Liza Shirazi, hours of operation 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Hi there, Liza Shirazi here, my business partner.
Steve Postal.
Okay. Thank you both for being with us. If you could please briefly present the proposed concept to the board.
Sure, yes, thank you for having us. So we are looking to open a Revival in this location. We are currently in Cambridge, Boston, Somerville, Watertown, and Lexington, and we're excited to join the Fort Point community as well. As you said, there's 14 seats. We're in the base floor of 15 Necco, which is Eli Lilly's headquarters. We're on the front side of the building. And we'll be serving the same menu as we do at our other locations. It's primarily coffee, tea, breakfast, lunch, all homemade items that we're making in our Cambridge production kitchen. And we're just excited, happy to be here, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. How close are you guys to opening?
We hope to open next week. We're at the final stages. We, after this, just need a Board of Health, and then we're ready to go.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sounds like an exciting venture there. I have no questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I have no questions. Thank you.
None from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS had hosted a butters meeting on December 18th. It was lightly attended, but those in attendance had questions just regarding the relationship with the Harbor Walk, type of food being served, and just general concepts regarding the space that the applicant was able to answer and address. We're unaware of any serious concerns at this time, and with that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 2, Day and Night Exotic Cereal Bar Boston LLC, doing business as Day and Night Exotic Cereal Bar Boston LLC, located at 2 Tremont Street in Brighton. Holder of a common victular license has petitioned to change the corporate name of the licensed business from Day and Night Exotic Cereal Bar Boston LLC to Sweet and Comfy Brighton LLC. Has also petitioned to change the DBA of the licensed business from Day and Night Exotic Cereal Bar Boston to Sweet and Comfy. And lastly, the applicant has petitioned to change the operating hours of the business from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
How's it going? It's me, Louis Elvius. I'm the owner.
Great. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Elvius. If you could please just walk the board through the proposed changes.
For sure. Just to echo what you said, the corporate name is changing from Day and Night Exotic Cereal Bar Boston LLC to Sweet and Comfy Brighton LLC, and the DBA is changing from Day and Night Cereal Bar to Sweet and Comfy, and the hours of operation is also changing. I've also met with the community, and I agreed to reduce the hours, the closing hours from 3 a.m. to 2 a.m. And I was told I would get their vote if I had done so, because there is also a neighboring business that closes at 2 a.m. And yeah, so I'm open to doing 2 a.m. as well as a closing time.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. So tell me about what kind of business you expect to get from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.
You said from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.?
Well, you currently have 11 p.m., correct?
Yep, for sure.
Tell me about your need to stay open till 2 a.m.
Well, given that we're about 10 minutes from Boston College, we do expect to get an increase of Uber and DoorDash orders during those late night hours. And we also are going to extend our menu a little bit. And that further goes into getting that late night crowd. Yeah, and there's also like there's a local bar within our community, down the street pretty much. And we've spoken to some of the customers, like the patrons from that bar, and some of them do say it would be great to have something open like after, especially if they can get something sweet like a dessert, or maybe something like a sandwich.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with your menu, so it's mostly sandwiches and desserts. Is that what it is?
What's the dessert? So it's ice cream. They're ice cream inspired desserts. So there's shakes, bowls, and we also plan to introduce dessert sandwiches as well.
Okay. You said there's another business that has 2 a.m. closing nearby. Which one is that?
I believe it's called New Hong Kong. It's a Chinese food restaurant.
Okay. So I'm just trying to see where you are. You're
Sure.
right in Oak Square.
Yep.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the community meeting or the neighborhood meeting you had.
The neighborhood meeting was pretty good. I got a lot of support, even for those closing hours, but there were a couple people who live in the community who were a little worried about pushing for 3 a.m. And they said they were fine with 2 a.m., but they believe 3 a.m. may set a precedent, like of other businesses wanting to extend to those hours. But aside from that, it was pretty good, and they agreed to supporting if I did 2 a.m. instead of 3.
Okay, so oh, I see where you are, yeah. And you're relying on a lot of Uber and DoorDash late at night, correct?
For sure.
Is there where do DoorDash and Uber park and stuff?
So there's limited street parking.
Intersection,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
It looks like a very busy intersection. So I didn't know if there was
Yeah.
a plan.
For sure. So especially during those hours, we don't expect a lot of traffic after 10 p.m. We don't expect a lot of foot traffic to be coming in or a lot of traffic in that area in general. It normally calms down by the nighttime. So I think parking will be a lot more easy and free during those hours. But also there's a good amount of street parking as well. So like on our side and even across the street, there's enough space for drivers to put on their hazards if they have to. If there's no like physical parking to stop, but there's enough space to, I guess, allow them to quickly get their order and move themselves.
So that's something I think you're gonna have to be really conscious of as the owner of people double parking, leaving their hazards on and running in at night.
For sure.
The transportation department will take issue with that, and then you'll be back before us for reconsideration of those hours, because you have to have a plan for these third-party pickups. And let them know where they should park, because it's not okay. It's a pretty wide street, but we don't want to be encouraging people to leave their hazards on and running in.
For sure. For sure. That's not a norm, but I guess like during the busier hours, like not just for my shop, but in general for that area, let's say around 5, 6 p.m. That is something I've seen where they don't park any area that can cause an accident, but there are some parts that say no, parking. But I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but that might become an issue, especially if
For
your
sure.
business model is fast food, third-party deliveries. Just because it's being done doesn't mean it's something we're going to be permitting moving forward. So you have to really be concerned by that. We have it
Okay, for sure.
in other parts of the city. And oftentimes transportation will weigh in. So I'm just making you aware of it, that you may want to instruct your DoorDash and Uber drivers exactly where they should park, so they're not leaving their hazards on and running in the middle of the street.
For sure.
And I think I'd like to request for you to submit a plan in writing for us to consider for that.
Okay.
That would be helpful, so we have that on file. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I'm just wondering, do you have any access to the space in the back of your building, or is that for other people?
This like when you say the space in the back, you mean like it's kind of like a garage area, so there's no parking in the back, but there's a street on the back as well that people can park in. So there's
Yeah,
like a street. I'm not sure if you're looking at the maps, but there's a street.
looking at the satellite. So you have nothing off street. I just wanted to confirm.
When you say nothing off street, could you like reiterate that? What does that mean?
We'll be looking at the satellite at the back of your building. There's blacktop. That's just north and west of No Nantum Street. That's nothing that you have access to, right?
Yeah, it's nothing we have access to. Well, there's like a side street that anybody could come down, anybody could park on. But directly behind us, like if we open our back door, it's like a little parking lot, but that's used for trash for the businesses.
Okay, thank you.
For sure, no problem.
No additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information in the community process. So ONS had hosted an abutters meeting on November 21st. It was lightly attended. From my understanding, no concerns were raised in the abutters meeting. As you heard, the applicant met with the Brighton Allston Improvement Association. There were concerns raised in that meeting where some of the members worried about noise from folks congregating or being in the establishment, potentially disturbing those who live in residential areas at the rear of the property. They were not supportive of 3 a.m. I understand that they wanted the applicant to go lower with their closing time, which the number I heard was 1 a.m. And I think the applicant thought that maybe 2 a.m. would be a compromise in the middle of that. To my knowledge, the Brighton Allston Improvement Association has not written a letter in support or opposition at this time. I don't think they took a formal vote since they last met with this applicant. So with that information, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 3, Masterand Corporation doing business as Burger King,
The hell is
located
this?
at 944 Bennington Street in East Boston. Holder of a common victualler license has petitioned to change the operating hours of the business from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. to 24 hours. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Hello, Brett Kohler, President and owner of Masterand Corporation, and I'm joined by my regional manager, Ron Dimmick, and my district manager, Angelo Martinetti.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Kohler, Mr. Dimmick, Mr. Martinetti, if you'd like to present the proposed concept and a reasoning for the board.
Yes, we are seeking the approval of the board to move from closing at 2 a.m. to 24 hours, as you stated. We met with the board just a few months ago to move to 2 a.m. And at that time, we were looking for 24 hours, but we were waiting to complete the remodel. So we are starting the remodel in February. So we're just finishing up the permit process now with scheduled construction to start in February. And then upon completion of that remodel, the plan would be to go 24 hours.
Okay, How long ago was that? I remember that, but I just don't know off the top of my head how long ago.
Gosh, I don't have the date in front of me. Ron, do you have the date? There was a confusion on the license that hadn't been updated properly for the hours. So we wanted to get like the current hours, which were 2 a.m. to be reflected on the license, which we did. And at that time, we weren't prepared to go 24 hours. So the suggestion was just to stick to 2 a.m. And then when we were prepared to go to 24 hours to meet back here with the board, like I said, upon completion of the remodels, when we'll be ready.
That
So
was
are
in
you-
June of 2024.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you requesting 24 hours in the dining room as well, or just 24 hours in the drive-through?
No, ma'am. We'll close the dining room at 11 p.m. just as we are today. So all that stays the same. It's just the drive-through and the delivery from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay. Um, so the condition on the license, Danny, is the dining room's closed at 11, is that right?
Current condition says dining room shall close to the public at 10 p.m.
Oh, at 10.
That's what's on the license currently.
It is 10 p.m. Yes.
Oh, my mistake. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that explanation. I don't have any questions. Commissioners, do you?
Not at this moment, thank you.
No questions from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office is deferred to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS had hosted a butters meeting on April 30th. I understand they are also in contact with the Orient Heights Neighborhood Council as well. The community is supportive from what I understand. They understand it with the proximity to the airport, that people need options later than other parts of the city, and that overall we did not hear any serious concerns regarding this proposal for 24 hours for the drive-through. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 4, Tuscan Kitchen of Boston LLC, doing business as Tuscan Kitchen, located at 53 Northern Ave. A holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Charles Wright to Damaris Surset, who's present on behalf of the applicant.
That's myself, Damaris Surset.
Thank you very much for being with us. Chairman Joyce.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Ms. Sarasette, are you a citizen?
I am a citizen, yes.
Are you a resident of Massachusetts?
I am, yes.
What is your experience in the food and beverage industry?
I've been in the industry for about 34 years. I was a restaurateur for about 14 of those years in my early 20s. I was director of operations for Carrabba's family of restaurants for maybe about 8 to 12 years. And my last job, which I held for about 10 years, I was director of operations for the Houston Astros and their hospitality groups.
Okay. Are you familiar with the rules and regulations of our board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
I have made myself familiar, yes.
Okay, thanks. I have no additional questions. Commissioners, do you?
I do not, thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you for being with us, Ms. Surset.
Thank you so much for having me.
Calling item number 5, Bennington 1004 LLC, doing business as Renegades Pub, located at 1004 Bennington Street in East Boston. Holder of a restricted common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned for a change of ownership interest. Attorney Kristen Scanlon. Attorney Scanlon.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Green, Kristen Scanlon for the licensee. This is a small housekeeping matter. There's a change of ownership interest to remove Katie Daly and add Valerie O'Connor as the 49% LLC member. Ms. O'Connor has been an employee since 2017 and the manager of record for the past 2+ years. Peter Ackerman here remains the majority shareholder, and other than that, there are no changes proposed to this license.
Thank you for that explanation. I have no questions. Commissioners, do you?
I do not, thank you.
No questions from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 6, Menina Cafe Inc., doing business as Menina Cafe, located at 432 Geneva Ave in Dorchester, has applied for a common victual or 7-day wines and malt beverages license to be exercised on the above. A single-story building on the first floor, 2 rooms with table seating in front, capacity of 16, and kitchen in rear. Entrance in front and exit in rear, total 640 square feet. Manager Alejandra Rosa, closing time 10 p.m. Attorney Jennifer Allen. Attorney Allen?
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Jennifer Allen on behalf of Menina Cafe and its application for the wines and malt beverages license, as well as a CV for the existing license. Alejandra Rosa is also logged in as well. Our application is for a going concern, which had both prior licenses inadvertently expire. And to bridge that gap until a decision is rendered, we are also applying for a temporary CV so the business can remain open and not lose its goodwill. I'd also like to make note that the prior license was an all alcoholic license that they carried. My client, Alejandra Rosa, the majority stockholder and proposed manager, and logged in for any questions after. Menina Cafe has been serving authentic Dominican food for almost a decade now. And Alejandra has been working in the store since its inception, where her parents owned it. She has now taken over and seeking to be able to offer her patrons beer and wine instead of all alcohol, which is a far less ambitious endeavor. Working at the cafe for so many years now and owning it, she is well qualified and has plenty of experience. She's also TIP certified, a Massachusetts resident, U.S. citizen. She's familiar with the rules of the ABCC and the City of Boston licensing. No violations have been recorded against Menina Cafe during their tenure. Public convenience has also been established for the prior license and arguably continues to exist for the lesser license, as nothing has really changed on the ground or in the neighborhood. Given these unique circumstances of this application, I urge the board to approve it. We are happy to answer any questions that you have regarding this request. Thank you for your time.
Okay, just taking a look here. So it's seating for 16?
Correct.
All right. I think our records show that the previous license was beer and wine as well, but
Okay.
it's fine. Just to let you know that.
Sure.
So it's Dominican food. Ms. Rosa is second generation owner.
Yes.
Okay, and she'll also be the manager of record, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and the closing time will remain 10 p.m.?
Correct. Not looking to change any other operational details.
Okay. Great, thanks. I have no questions, thanks. Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon?
I have no questions. That's fine. Thank you.
None from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office is to defer to the judgment of this board. Our office is unaware of any concerns for the many years that this establishment has been operational with those previous licenses as stated. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 7, Cholo Brothers LLC, doing business as Peruvian Taste Restaurant located at 78 Arlington Ave in Charlestown, has applied for a common victual or 7-day wines and malt beverages license to be exercised on the above. 1,200 square feet total in 1 room on ground level, with 1 main dining area for seating and small bar with seating for 3. Kitchen and rear, storage and basement, main entrance exit on Arlington Ave, 1 additional emergency exit in rear of premises. Manager Ioana Pleites, closing time 10 p.m. Attorney Kristen Scanlon. Attorney Scanlon.
Good morning again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Green, Kristen Scanlon for the applicant. Signed on with us this morning is Jose Villafranca, who is the owner of Peruvian Taste at 78 Arlington Ave in Charlestown. As an initial matter, between the time of filing the application and today, the proposed manager of record no longer works for the applicant entity. Mr. Villafranca will now be the proposed manager of record, and we will revise the application accordingly. Just for the record, he is a U.S. citizen, a Massachusetts resident, and is familiar with the rules and regulations and has experience in the industry, including his ownership of this restaurant since 2020. By way of background, the application before you this morning is for a new beer and wine license. Mr. Villafranca was born in Lima, Peru. He initially came to the U.S. as a student and came with a dream to open his own restaurant. As a young boy, he grew up learning to cook from his grandfather, who worked for Chinese immigrants, making chifa, which is also known as Peruvian Chinese food. It's a fusion of Cantonese cooking and traditional Peruvian ingredients and flavors. It's an incredibly rare flavor profile that you really cannot find in many other places in the entire New England region, let alone the Boston area. In the 1800s, there was a huge Chinese immigration to South America. Lima actually has the biggest Chinatown in South America. This type of food is very much a part of their culture. For instance, there's over 3,000 Peruvian Chinese restaurants in Lima alone. And as Jose told me, it's like Dunkin' Donuts in Massachusetts. Jose opened this particular restaurant in Charlestown in September of 2020, where he makes fresh dishes using authentic Peruvian products imported from various farms and markets. I'm going to turn it over to Jose in a few moments to talk a little bit more about himself and his concept, but it's worth noting that since opening, Peruvian Taste has been the recipient of numerous awards and accolades, including multiple features in Boston Magazine, The Food Lens, and most recently inclusion in Get Connected's 25 Best Ethnic Restaurants list. The restaurant itself is quaint in size at approximately 1,200 square feet with 24 seats and is open daily from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One of the leading reasons he's seeking the new license is due to the fact his customers have repeatedly been asking to have beer or wine with their meals. He wants to add these offerings, which of course is commonplace in many restaurants these days, especially for dinner, and may also bring in a few specialty Peruvian brands to round out the true authentic experience with the existing menu items that are offered. The majority of people who visit this restaurant are coming for the intent to sit down and eat, as this is a family-oriented and affordable restaurant. As mentioned, there is limited seating, so the focus is on people sitting down to eat with their family and friends. As the board knows, Charlestown is one of the zip codes contemplated by the 2024 legislation. There are not many licenses, generally speaking, in Charlestown as a whole, but in this area in particular, there's pretty much nothing. It's a little bit of an odd location. It's a bit secluded, but has become a little gem and destination spot once people learn about it. They're still struggling a bit with traffic because of the location. It's somehow close to everything because it's right off the highway, but at the same time, no one really thinks of this area as a restaurant. There are a lot of regulars, however, including those that work for the MBTA because of the nearby Charlestown garage. Otherwise, most, if not all, other Charlestown restaurants are on the other side of the expressway. There wasn't a butters meeting with one supporter in attendance. The date of that meeting was October 7th, 2024. We've also submitted to the board a support petition with upwards of 40 signatures. And just for the record, we did reach out to the Charlestown Neighborhood Council in the fall, but never heard back from them regarding the request to meet or if they wanted to hear more about the proposal. I'd love to turn it over to Jose just for a few minutes to introduce himself to the board and talk a little bit more about the concept.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. Just basically, Kirsten cover all the bases, but just the one thing is, we're very hidden, but we're struggling to, get known. And we have heard that, having the license will benefit our foot traffic, and it also is part of the culture. Peruvians like to have their meals with one glass of wine or a small beer, something like that. That's why we're thinking that this will benefit us. And since we're, a restaurant that struggles to stay in business due to our location and how it's small, we are hoping that this could be good for us. So we really thank everybody. If anybody has any questions for me.
Thanks so much. Your attorney did a great job explaining. You may have submitted it, but if not, could you submit a copy of your menu to the board so we could take a look at it?
Yes. I don't think I did, so I will.
Thanks. I'm just looking
Pull
at.
up like 5 or 10 feet. It's blocking my driveway. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just taking a look exactly where it is on the map. And I can see where you're saying it's not near other restaurants. I don't think I have any other questions at this time. Commissioners, do you?
I don't, thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office deferred to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant's representation, ONS hosted an abutters meeting that was lightly attended. There was a resident that was on there that was curious and supportive of the proposal. As you've also heard, a petition has been submitted with further signatures identifying residents that are in support. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. With that, we'd like to defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 8, Siraj Corporation, doing business as El Centro, located at 474 Shawmut Ave in Roxbury, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above 1,600 square feet total on first floor with 1 main dining area and bar seating, kitchen and rear, 1 main entrance exit on corner of Shawmut Ave and West Concord Street with additional emergency exit in rear. Basement for storage and office, 2 seasonal outdoor seating areas May to October, located on public property with seating for 40, closing hour 10 p.m. Manager Rabiul Islam, closing time 11 p.m. Attorney Kristen Scanlon. Attorney Scanlon.
Good morning again. Kristen Scanlon for the applicant. Signed on with us this morning from the restaurant are owners Alan Rodriguez and Rabiul Islam, who is also the proposed manager of record. The application before you this morning is for a new all alcohol license. By way of background, Alan, who was originally born in Mexico, and Rabi, who's originally from Bangladesh, collectively have been in the restaurant industry for 30 years. They also own a second El Centro location in Dedham. Alan also owns Lynetta on Newberry Street, as well as Sabina Mezcaleria on Newberry Street as well. This particular El Centro location on Shawmut Avenue opened in 2011, where Rabi also owns the property here. Since opening, they've really been a staple neighborhood restaurant, offering an array of authentic Mexican food, anywhere from tacos to fine dining. They currently have a wine, malt, and cordials license. Since they've been a license holder, they've been an exemplary licensee with no issues to speak of. They are open from 11 to 11 every day, serving lunch and dinner, and they also serve brunch on the weekends. Over the years, El Centro has been recognized by features like the Best of Boston and Boston's Best, really highlighting what they offered not only to the neighborhood, but the city as well. The restaurant itself is smaller in scale, only about 1,500 square feet total, with dining area seating, which includes a 10-seat bar for 45 seats. They also have seasonal outdoor seating, which is situated, they're on the corner of Shawmut and Concord on both sides of their property, which is nice for seasonal outdoor seating that it's separated there, and they can really activate the streetscape. Because this is an application for a new license, of course, public discussion of public need is warranted. In particular, this is the exact type of restaurant contemplated by the legislation. I believe it's actually the first zip code 02118 indicated in the 2024 legislation. It's a small restaurant, and like I said, has really become the fabric, part of the fabric of this particular community in the South End. There are several longtime patrons that are asking for the upgrade and have been asking for it for years in order to add certain tequilas and mezcals to their food offerings. As we heard in both the abutters meeting, which was held on October 30th, and a meeting with the Blackstone and Franklin Square Neighborhood Association, which was on November 19th, several folks, including immediate abutters, pointed out that it's a quiet neighborhood corner and El Centro really brings life to the neighborhood, and that they are excited for the additional flexibility that the new license could allow. When they closed for renovation somewhat recently, neighbors and many echoed this sentiment, said they really felt the void of the restaurant not being in operation. One resident also commented that he's lived within 500 feet of them for the past nearly 15 years, and that they continue to be a great part of the neighborhood, and everyone that works there is friendly, and they can't think of a better restaurant to get one of the new licenses. So it's a very well-recognized restaurant, but they also want to be competitive with other restaurants and are currently limited in doing so. Oftentimes people either leave their place or not come at all, depending on what they're seeking to drink with their food. So again, they'd really like to add good mezcal and tequila brands, and have had a lot of customers over the years requesting certain brands as well. As the board is aware, we submitted upwards of 50 support letters and 50 separate signatures on a support petition. And while there are nearby restaurants, this particular restaurant's located, as previously indicated, in more of a residential area. There aren't many in the immediate vicinity, like there are in other stretches of streets around the south end. The closest Mexican restaurant is about a quarter mile away, which does have a full liquor license. And I believe the closest restaurant is longtime restaurant Toro down there. Other closest are Flower Bakery and Anashella, all that offer a wide variety of different options, not similar to what El Centro has. Lastly, and when they started the restaurant, they did obtain a 4 value license, which they hold now. As the board is aware, these licenses are unrestricted and carry value. And since they've had the privilege of being a license holder, they've also been able to use the business asset for necessary collateral for various improvements over the years at the restaurant, like their recent renovations we just mentioned a few moments ago. The license value in and of itself is oftentimes, as the board is aware, the most important asset of the restaurant, not only for operations, but for value in the event of a future sale as well. We've discussed this with the board previously, so I could incorporate by reference the comments made. But it looks like, if we look back at one of the 2014 or at the 2014 legislation, one of the main unintended consequences was lack of delineation to licenses to specific neighborhoods. And while this 2024 legislation has seemed to resolve that, there's still a question of whether or not people who are otherwise in restricted areas could still be considered eligible for unrestricted licenses due to the existing license that they have being unrestricted as well. So we would simply ask that at a minimum, they be considered for an unrestricted license during deliberations, and that just because they could be eligible for a restricted license given their zip code doesn't otherwise eliminate them from consideration for an unrestricted license. However, if the board is nevertheless inclined to grant a restricted license, we would respectfully request consideration that the licensee is able to transfer or sell their license. For instance, they have planned to recently start a new business on Tremont Street and could potentially transfer the license there as well. So we'd appreciate any consideration that could be offered to that subject matter, given the nature of their existing license being a value license. That being said, happy to answer any questions or concerns the board might have.
Thank you. Appreciate that explanation. Where is this new venture they're starting?
It's on Tremont Street, I believe 570. Robbie, can you confirm the address? You've got on mute.
Just asking to unmute. Something should have popped up on your screen if you're with us.
Robbie or Alan, if you could comment too. I think they just applied for a CV and are about to, but let me.
Yeah, I think it's the correct address.
570 at Tremont,
Yeah.
I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right in the corner. It used to be the old Bostonian market.
Okay. So, and you'll be running that restaurant as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so you would like, I'm just making sure I summarize what your attorney said. Should you be considered for an unrestricted license? Should you be considered for a restricted license with no value, you would like to either be able to sell or transfer your current unrestricted beer and wine. And one of the places you'd be considered transferring it to is your other restaurant at 570 Tremont Street.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have no other questions. Commissioners, do you?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office deferred to the judgment of this board. Some background information in the community process. As you heard from the applicant's representation, ONS hosted a butters meeting on October 30th. Those in attendance were in support. They also went on to meet with the Blackstone Franklin Neighborhood Association, which voted on November 19th to support. I believe it was almost unanimous. We're unaware of any concerns regarding this proposal, with people citing the brilliant operation that's existing there right now. With that, defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Connor, are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Calling item number 9, Altamira Banquets LLC, doing business as Mi Pueblito Orient Heights, located at 964 Saratoga Street in East Boston, has applied for a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above, 4,974 square feet total, 1,158 square feet in one room on the first floor, with one main dining room and lounge area with bar for 8 seats, 954 square foot kitchen in rear of premises, 2,112 square foot basement level consists of function room with bar for 7 seats, storage rooms located on basement level, approximately 750 square foot seasonal outdoor patio on private property, April to October, weather permitting, with seating for 40, closing hour 11 p.m. One main entrance and exit on Saratoga Street, 2 additional exits located on Saratoga Street at rear of premises. Manager Altamira Carpio, closing time 11 p.m. Attorney Kristen Scanlon. Attorney Scanlon.
Good morning again. Kristen Scanlon for the applicant. With us this morning is Altamira Carpio, who's the owner and proposed manager of record, along with her daughter who works besides her, Jacqueline Argueta. The proposal and application before you this morning is for a new all alcohol beverage license. This particular applicant is currently a beer, wine, and cordials license holder at this location. By way of background, they opened in 2015 and purchased the license with that business. They've been an exemplary licensee since that time, never any violations to speak of at this location. Altamira has been in the hospitality industry for 30 years in and around Boston. She purchased this business in 2015 herself and purchased the building as well approximately 4 years after that, so property owner as well. And she's really created a restaurant in the last decade that's become part of the fabric of this Orient Heights neighborhood. It's family-oriented, dine-in restaurant with Central American influence, with Altamira being from Guatemala. Menu items are unique in the area, again, with Central American influences, as well as from her Guatemalan heritage and also Salvadoran influences. It's really a beautiful, family-oriented and affordable restaurant. All the staff there are welcoming, making you feel at home, which is their home, with touches of their culture added down to the hand-carved chairs brought in, especially for the restaurant from Mexico. They are open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the neighborhood. And the only change being requested here is the inclusion of spirits. Nothing else will change in the restaurant, which is approximately or has 70 seats upstairs with 79 downstairs. Downstairs has a banquet room. They have approximately 2 events per month. And the restaurant also includes a bar with 8 seats. They currently have a patio as well on private property, which we're adding, which isn't on their existing license now, but we'd like to add permanently with 40 seats that they hold and host patrons seasonally out there. As far as public need is concerned, one of the leading reasons they're seeking the new license is due to the fact that their customers have repeatedly asked for certain cocktails, tequilas, and mezcals over the years, which they currently do not, obviously, and cannot carry given their existing license. They want to add these new items along with others in order to create drinks for those specific spirits and to expand offerings that are complementary to their menu items. This, again, similar to the ones that have gone before this morning, is the exact type of business contemplated by the legislation. In addition, it's obviously female, minority, and immigrant owned. And again, the restaurant has really become part of the fabric of the neighborhood. The owners have invested in the property, making substantial upgrades when they eventually purchased the building as well. We did hear in the abutters meeting, which was held on November 25th, how great their reputation is, that they're extremely hardworking people, and including positive commentary and support from an immediate abutter. People noted there are not a lot of drinks to choose from currently, so they'd look forward to the expanded offerings, and many people, again, echoing the sentiment that the people that work there are very wonderful and the service is always great and make people feel welcomed. Another noted as well that it's a very safe place to go in the neighborhood. So allowing this applicant to have a full license will enhance everyone's experience. Again, they've been open for almost a decade, never any issues to speak of, which neighbors also noted there, and that they're just a class act restaurant operation. We did also meet with the Orient Heights Neighborhood Council on November 18th, who voted to support this application as well. Within the Orient Heights neighborhood of East Boston, there are a lot of fast casual and takeout restaurants, but is somewhat limited to dine-in and sit-down restaurant options in this area of the neighborhood. There's only one other nearby restaurant that provides Mexican options, but the menu is really influenced from different parts of Central America than from what Mi Pueblito offers. Other offerings with various licenses, whether beer and wine or all alcohol, include Italian and Latin offerings, and Colombian food, or more of an American bar concept. As far as character and fitness is concerned, in addition to the reasons we've already mentioned and the support they've garnered in the neighborhood, they were recognized in 2024 by the state Senate for their hard work, dedication, and perseverance in the neighborhood. And they're also, over the years, very supportive of local schools and hotels. For schools, they host the annual graduation dinner for the Bradley School in Orient Heights, and regularly do deliveries for both Excel schools in East Boston. As the board is aware, that we also submitted over 80 signatures on a support petition, plus multiple letters in support of this application. Lastly, again, and if I may incorporate much of the commentary from the previous applicant by reference, for many of the same reasons, this applicant is similarly seeking to exchange their unrestricted value license for an unrestricted value license. When they purchased the business, again, they purchased the license, and they too have used it as collateral, in particular when they purchased the real estate for this location. For similar reasons as the previous applicant, they'd ask that at a minimum they be considered for an unrestricted license. But if the board is not inclined to vote in that way and decide that perhaps a restricted license is more appropriate for this applicant, should they meet all the qualifying standards that the board would consider, we would respectfully request that the board considers allowing the applicant to sell the existing license to capture their investment so that they aren't forfeiting it. Other than that, happy to answer any questions or concerns the board might have.
Thank you. There is a private event space I can see, or function hall. How many events do you guys host in a month or season?
They usually do one to two a month.
That's helpful. Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Good morning. My name is Guillermo Garcia, and I'm one of the customers that has been going to Mi Pueblito for the past 8 years. I know the owner, and I'm just going to echo some of the staff that the attorneys mentioned. It's a family-owned business, and when you visit the restaurant, is from the kitchen staff all the way to Altamira, the daughter that works there all the time. You feel welcome. And having a limited liquor license is an issue for a lot of us that we bring our families to have a good meal and enjoy a good time. So I'll appreciate if that can be considered as well. A great, outstanding environment with great service, and the minute you step in the door, you feel embraced and welcome. So thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. As you heard from the applicant's representation, ONS hosted a Butters meeting, which occurred on November 25th. It was a positive meeting. The applicant went on to connect with the Orient Heights Neighborhood Council, where they received their support in a 9-1 vote, with those in support citing the positive and amazing character of the applicant. We're unaware of any major concerns. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Gabriela Ramirez here on behalf of Councilor Coletta Zapata. At this time, the council would like to go in support of this proposal.
Thank you very much. I see a hand raised from a Miguel. You will have 2 minutes to provide your testimony.
Yes, good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm here also to support Mi Pueblito. I'm being a customer and a client for many years. Great service, great food. They always support the community events. Every time there is a coffee morning, they help out with the community and then being involved with the community 100%. So I really support that the board really consider to apply their license. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 10, Jigu LLC, doing business as Cafe Jigu, located at 102 Meridian Street in East Boston, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above 1,500 square foot restaurant with 1 entrance and 2 exits on 1 floor, to include dining area with seating for 28, bar with seating for 8, restroom, food prep, and storage area. Manager Paula Osorio. Closing time 1 a.m. Attorney James Costello. Attorney Costello.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Green. My name is James Costello, and I am the attorney for Cafe Gigu, located at 102 Meridian Street in East Boston. The manager and owner is Paula Osorio. She's hopefully on this morning with us. A little about her. She was born in Medellin, Colombia. She came to the United States in 2001. She started working at Cafe Gigu in 2011 and quickly became the manager. After a lot of hard work and saving a lot of money, she purchased the business in August of 2023. Currently, they have beer, wine, and cordials license. That was a part of the private seal. Her restaurant's small, very clean, modern. The food is excellent. It has a Colombian flair to it. The service is great. The coffee is outstanding as well. I can attest to that. The atmosphere is an artistic lounge type environment. That is by design. Paula always has been an admirer of the arts. She supports the local music academy. She supports the local artists. Paula has an art exhibition in her restaurant every 90 to 120 days for the local artist. What she does is she provides a buffet. She invites all of her patrons to attend and displays the art until the next exhibition is held. I submitted a video to the board. Hopefully you got a chance to watch it because it's really incredible what she does here. And hopefully we're going to have one of the artists that had an exhibition that Paul has testified today. I truly believe the art gallery is what separates Cafe Gigu from any other restaurant in East Boston. We submitted 88 letters of support. We have a letter of support from the Maverick Central Neighborhood Association. Cafe Gigu is a hidden gem and an asset to the community. As far as the public need is concerned, I don't believe there's a Colombian restaurant in the area that has a full liquor license, and there definitely isn't any restaurant in the area with the concept of an art gallery. I believe La Hacienda is the closest, but that's a Mexican restaurant. There's a dense Colombian population in the area loyal to Cafe Gigu, and her clientele is constantly asking her when is she going to get upgraded and serve alcoholic drinks. This is evidenced by the 88 letters of support. She's a hardworking Colombian woman's-owned small neighborhood restaurant with an art gallery, which is exactly the type of business that was contemplated by the legislation for these full liquors. Unlike what we heard in the present, She has a private, unrestricted beer, wine, and cordials. If she's fortunate enough to get the full liquor license, she's willing to turn that in. That's how much she wants the full liquor license. She does not even want to be considered for one of the unrestricted full licenses because she'd be happy just to have a restricted full liquor license. She's a U.S. citizen. She's a resident of the Commonwealth. She's familiar with all of the rules and regulations of the City of Boston Licensing Board and the ABCC, and has experience in food and beverage. Extremely hardworking person. All of the residents in the area say it's a hidden gem. You have to see it. It's a modern, incredible place with all the paintings on the wall, and all of the artists have gotten a leg up over the last couple of years since she implemented this. And hopefully you viewed that video because it's incredible. It's only about a minute, and before the board votes, I would hope that each and every one of you members view the video that I submitted. Thank you.
Did you submit the video to Wendy yesterday, or when did you submit
Yes,
it?
I saw you in the office yesterday. I submitted
Yeah.
it. Yes, yes. She said she put it in the file. It's about a minute long. It's just incredible, the video. It shows all the art on the wall. It's really, really impressive.
It's in the application file.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much. And I actually don't have any questions. So just to confirm, she has a 4 Value beer, wine, and cordial license, which she purchased herself 2 years ago.
That's correct.
And
Year and a
she's
half
willing-
about.
Year and a half, and she's willing to surrender that should she be granted.
Exactly. That's how bad she wants the full liquor license.
Okay.
And she doesn't even want to be considered for one of the unrestricted full alcohol license. She'd be happy and content with this.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board regarding the community process. ONS conducted a butters meeting on December 2nd. It was a positive meeting. I understand that the applicant was in contact with the Maverick Central Neighborhood Association. We're unaware of any concerns at this time regarding this proposal. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Gabriela Ramirez here on behalf of Councilor Gabriela Coletta Zapata. At this time, the council would like to go in support of this proposal.
Good morning. My name is Miguel Vargas. I also support Jigu. This is a great restaurant, very great environment. I love the fact that they always supporting a local artists. I've been there for many years since they opened up, since day one, and I support and I hope she gets a license.
Thank you. I see two hands raised. The first is from Debbie Rasso. You will have 2 minutes to provide your testimony. I'm going to ask you to unmute now.
Hi, good morning. My name is Debbie Rasso. I'm the president of Maverick Central Civic Association. And as Mr. Costello has stated, we are fully in support of this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I see a hand raised as well from the De Nosotros Foundation. I'm going to ask you to unmute as well, and you may please provide your testimony.
Right. Thank you so much. My name is Nelson Correa, and I'm a director of the Nosotros Foundation, a nonprofit that works with the community here in East Boston. Now, I just want to say that Cafe Jigu is a community supporter, always being supported of our youth leadership group. Also, always is being supported every event that we have with the community, and also is part of the one of the business that is part of the Activating Boston. This is a program that we have with the community to activate the Central Square here in East Boston. Also, Cafe Jigu is like a art place for which is welcoming everybody. This is with the local exhibitions, and also it's a community networking for all the artists and the community around East Boston. And also I want to say that Cafe Jigu is like a home for everybody because the families and friends always being there, join together, and also it's like for the working class community, they always being there after work at the night time, and we will be happy because if Jigu is doing well, our community also is doing well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next hand I see raised is from Cesar. You may please provide your testimony.
Good morning, how are you? My name is Cesar Garcia. I'm director of the Moab Music Academy. Jigu Cafe and Paulea Sorio have been fundamental support for the promotion and the cultural and artistic development and artists in the East Boston area. They're always willing to offer the cafe space to graphic artists, painters, singers, promoters, and people on the all ages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last hand I see raised is from Felipe. I'm going to ask you to, yeah, there you go. You may please provide your testimony as well.
Good morning. As an artist, I can tell you guys that finding places like this is hard for us because we have to do all by ourselves. We have to look for the people who want to purchase our art, and Cafe Jigu do that for us for free. They don't charge nothing to the artists. If we sell something there, they just let us take the money. They don't ask for nothing to change for the thing they do for the artists, you know what I mean? And the place is extremely good. The food is pretty good. And so I think they deserve the license.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter who have not yet done so? The board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much. Those are all the items before the board this morning. The board is set to vote tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. That will adjourn this morning's hearing. Thank you all, and please do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.